Hello class, and welcome to the last lesson of sinusoidal functions. If you want to add to this lesson 6.8 to keep it aflow, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll just say review for test on this unit, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, different pieces of terminology you need to make sure you know or have mastered for this unit test are cycle, period, equation of the axis. Remember, it's horizontal for this unit, okay? Amplitude, the min and the max and the range, those are all tied in together. Just remember that for sinusoidal functions, ladies and gentlemen, we have two base graphs. One is y equals sine x. So it starts at its axis, goes to its max, goes back to its axis, and then to its min. Okay? Likewise, the cosine, ladies and gentlemen, it starts at its max, goes to its axis, down to its min, and back up. Remember that I'm just showing you one cycle. These are what we call continuous functions, so they should have arrows on both ends when you're drawing them. All right. From that, ladies and gentlemen, we learned a key building blocks. Okay, period equals 360 divided by absolute value of k, which you can switch the k in the period, ladies and gentlemen. So k equals 360 divided by the period. If you want to get the equation of the axis, if you've got the formula or the equation, you know it's y equals c. Or if you've got the graph, then you're going to take your min, add your max, and divide by 2. Looking at the amplitude, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're given the equation, you know it's the absolute value of a. Or if you're given the graph and you have the max and the min, you add, subtract them, divide by 2. Or my best that I like is if you've got the max and you subtract the axis. Okay? Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have our start value. That is D. So that's where you're going to start to draw your box. Okay? Last three building blocks we learned is the max equals the C plus the absolute value of A, so that's your axis plus your amplitude, whereas your minimum is your axis subtract your amplitude. Okay, remember everything's symmetrical, so these will be symmetrical around the axis. And your range, ladies and gentlemen, is your min has to be less than or equal to y, which has to be less than or equal to your max. All right, moving on to transformations, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know what your A, K, D, and C do. Excuse me. Pardon me for that. And you have to know if it's a vertical, horizontal, translation, transformation, shift, reflect, reflection, all those, okay? I will provide you with the transformation formula, which are these, okay, on your test. So all you need to do is to be able to find equations from graphs or, which is this one here, or tables, or if you're given the equation, you got to be able to graph them as well. And just make sure you know where to draw the box. So start with D. Okay? And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, applications. Remember, you're applying all these key building blocks up here to real-life applications of Ferris wheels or wheel wells or windmills, anything that moves in a circular motion. Okay? And you apply all of these situations to real-life problems. Just remember, guys, that if you're asking for the speed of the wheel, that's going to equal 2 pi r over the period. All right, so what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is for the next 2 classes, you're going to be working on homework of review. So these are 2 days of review here. So it's 2 days of work, guys. Okay, so don't feel overwhelmed if you're not getting it all done at once. So we're going to do homework page 404, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and we want you to graph that one. Give 11 a try, 12 and 13. Also try page 384, numbers 4 to 7, 10, 12, and if you're done that, I believe there's a practice test on 406. All right, ladies and gentlemen, come see me if you need any help, and have a great day, and start studying for your test. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.